Welcome back to Crazy Ex Podcast. This time, Roger and I will be recapping Season 1. As always, we'll start off with a synopsis. Rebecca was working hard at a New York job, making dough, but it made her blue. One day she was crying a lot, and so she decided to move to West Corvina, California. Brand new house, new career. It just happens to be where Josh lives, but that's not why she's here. She's a crazy ex-girlfriend, which is a sexist term, but displays how broken she is inside. The situation is nuanced, but she is C-R-A-Z-Y. Crazy ex-girlfriend. But for reals, after bumping into her ex-boyfriend Josh and some questionable advice from butter ads, Rebecca moves from New York to West Covina, California, where Josh lives. She takes a job at Whitefeather & Associates for her new boss, Daryl, where she meets her new best friend, Paula. She desperately tries to connect with Josh, who is back with his ex, Valencia, but also gets tangled up with Greg, Josh's best friend, and meets her neighbor, Heather, along the way. Paula and Rebecca come up with a variety of schemes to bring Josh and Rebecca closer together and break up Josh and Valencia. Rebecca starts dating Greg, but Greg sabotages their relationship and Josh and Valencia break up. Rebecca and Josh get together, and they did not live happily ever after?
That's to be determined.
All right. What'd you think of this season, Roger?
I don't think we have the same opinion of this season. If I was grading it, I'd give it a C. I would say my problem...
That's a fail!
We also don't have the same opinion of grades.
Rebecca would also feel this way.
I don't know that you ever want to compare yourself to her. But you're right. I would say the biggest issue I had with it is awkward is like garlic. Too much of it can overpower everything else, and you'll appreciate that joke more than most. Look, I think there are some moments that are outstanding, that are really funny, really good songs. The problem I guess I had ultimately is that for every great moment where I went, this was laugh out loud funny, I could think of an equally irritating moment that was just like, enough of this shit. So I was like, if there's 10 good moments and there's 10 bad moments, you kind of land square in the middle for me. Not a C+, it's not a C-, it's not an A, it's certainly not an F. It's just a C, right in the middle for me.
I think that I have a higher tolerance for awkward than you do.
Definitely do.
And it's not just you. I know a lot of other people that are like, oh my god, that show is so awkward. And I'm like, oh wait, not just this one, but other shows. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of that. I would say this is a B. I think this season is a B.
You're not that much higher than I am, though. I thought you'd be in the A category.
Well, it gets so much better.
It does. I think it starts really good, and I think it ends really good.
It like dips in the middle.
There's a big crater in the middle.
I think the second season is also a little shorter. It bounces, but each season bounces between being 13 and 18 episodes, and this was an 18-episode season. So we'll see how that goes. I'm just realizing that we've never done a recap with some people that are listening to the show before. So I'm going to talk about what we're going to talk about, which you made me talk about on air last time, but I'm just going to go through it.
You're going to recap the recap.
I'm going to recap the recap. We're going to talk about some counts of our winners and losers. Then we're going to talk about missed opportunities. Top 5 lines, which is always more than 5 for us.
It is, in fact, more than 5.
Top 5 songs, which I also have more than 5.
Same.
Most ridiculous moment of the season. I have 5.
I have 6.
Okay.
But one of them is definitely a moment I stole from you, so I really only had 5 individual ones.
We'll talk about a loser of the season. Top 5 moments. I have 6.
I have 8.
The winner of the season, and then we'll talk about top 5 questions for the next season.
I usually call that questions looking forward.
Yep.
And then in the season 2 recap, we will open the recap answering the questions that we had about going into the season.
Exactly. So for counts, I have this like massive spreadsheet that I have for our other podcast, and I had to recreate it for this podcast, and it's very intense.
It's glorious.
I learned some things that were interesting to me while doing this process.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to read the counts because I'm fascinated by this.
Okay.
So, if you listen to this episode, any of the episodes, I feel like there's been a very pro-Rebecca from Chelsea standpoint and a very anti-Rebecca standpoint for me. And yet, when you look at our counts regarding Rebecca, I have her as a loser 10 times, which feels like a lot. There are 18 episodes in this season. Chelsea has Rebecca as a loser 14 times.
Yeah. Rebecca makes some really bad choices.
Holy shit. we've never had anyone get... I love Rumpel in some seasons, and he's never gotten 14
I do
wins.
think that the ensemble cast of this group is smaller than in the other podcasts
For
that we do.
sure.
So the numbers are likely to be higher.
I would also say that like there are no episodes that don't focus on Rebecca. Whereas in the other show, sometimes characters will just not really be present, or it's a quick touch base and we're done. So she was going to factor into like... What's interesting is that there are 18 episodes. She factors into every one of your winner and losers. 14 losses, 4 wins. It's 18.
Yeah.
In mine, she's only a factor in 12.
Okay.
So, like, 2/3 of the time, I didn't even consider her. 100% of the time, she gets a decision.
Well, and she didn't make either of our top winners.
No. Not even really close, to be quite honest.
Yeah, no.
What's the top 3? Because you have that. I don't have that document in front of me. I can pull it up.
Oh, okay. Your... top winner is Josh with 6, which I think is fascinating.
Me too. Me too.
And then you were tied for Paula, Valencia, and Greg at 5.
That makes more sense to me.
Now,
granted, sometimes Josh's wins were 3rd place wins, so
sure.
Not all wins are weighted equally, but still 6 is a lot.
I do not have Josh in my top 3. Which doesn't surprise me at all.
Nope.
I am not Team Josh.
No, you are not. Is it because he's dumb and that's a character flaw in your mind?
Definitely.
I don't know what the word is.
He's also a very nice person sometimes, though. I don't know. Paula is my top winner with 8. Valencia with 5, so we both agree Valencia at 5. And Daryl at 5, who I think you had at 4.
3.
3, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Paula is a fascinating one for me.
I mean, it's a little harder in this show because it's not as like fantastical as the other show that we do.
It's not as clear.
But she often gets what she wants, especially earlier in the season, even if we don't think that it's a good thing that she's getting.
I guess what I meant by fascinating is that like in the other show, we often talk about morals a lot. Mm-hmm. Morally, Paula is wrong.
Yeah.
99% of the time. And in this, like, normally it's, but what they did is bad. Whereas, like, in this one, it's like, Paula did get what she wanted, even though what she does is bad, fundamentally.
I also think that I choose Paula as a winner less frequently later.
That could be true.
Because I think earlier, it's, like, what she wants, and it, like, seems like she's, like, forming a bond with Rebecca, and while breaking up someone and their girlfriend is not ever a good thing... Like, it's...
I don't know about that, but in this context, it's bad.
Yeah. It seems framed around, like, helping her friend and, like, wanting to do something that she thinks will make her friend and presumably Josh happy. And then as you learn more about Paula, you're like, that isn't what it is at all. That's not what's happening at all.
Their happiness is a side effect.
Yeah. Okay, top losers. Roger mentioned 10 for Rebecca. 7 for Josh, so you marked him as a loser more than a winner.
Barely, though.
Valencia, 6. Same.
That also feels correct.
Yeah, and Greg and Paula at 5.
You have Greg 9 times.
Yeah, so I have Rebecca 14, Greg 9, and Josh 7.
That is fascinating.
Yeah. I was trying to do this analysis and I couldn't figure out a way to do it easily. I don't think that either of us chose any character as a winner more times, any main character as a winner more times than a loser.
I think you are correct, but there's only 5 main characters.
Yeah, right? I would say that the main characters are Rebecca, Josh, Greg, Paula, and Valencia?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Now, I have 2 ties. Paula and Greg are 5-5.
Yeah.
But I also think that, like, unfortunately, most of the time, the things that are happening... I think more people end up in a bad spot at the end of each episode than how many end up in a good spot.
Yeah.
Whereas oftentimes in the other show, which is more fantastical, it's very clear who the winner of this was. This also runs together a little bit more, because it's not like, this episode, bad guy showed up, did a bad thing, you won or you lost. This one is more or less like, a crazy scenario happened, and then we're kind of projecting like how they might feel at the end of it, so it's not always just clear.
I also feel like there's often, like, I mean, this happened in the last episode we watched. It seems like Josh wants to be with Rebecca, and he seems happy about what he chose, and then at the very last second, he makes a face, and you're like, oh, oops.
what?
What? All right.
His ability to make that face, though, is a victory.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any questions about this table that you want me to do math super quickly? Is that a question that you have?
I actually do have one question. Have you ever totaled just how many total wins and losses we all... Because I'm curious as to, do you or I give more winners and more losers in totality?
No, I have not done that.
I can do that because that's a very equal sum formula. Because I wonder how much of that is becomes skewed then. Right?
Yeah, no, that's fair. You're going all the way to the right and doing a sum total across the row?
Correct.
Okay, great. We're having it should not surprise you how often Roger and I talk about Excel.
I would have not guessed the answer that we got. Total winners, and for both of us, were 35.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we gave the exact same amount of winners.
Each
of us had 35 winners.
Okay.
You had 37 losers, and I had 36 losers.
Oh, okay.
So we basically were in agreement. I bet if we did this in the other one, it is not going to be this close.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
And also, the number spread is tight. 35 and 37 is the spread.
Yeah.
That's pretty weird.
All right. Well, your favorite category, missed opportunities.
I normally have a lot, and I really only have 3 here.
I have 5.
I have 3, though, as always, with bullet points.
So you have, 12.
No. I'd say 7.
Okay, all right.
And you probably have this. More side characters. For the most part, the 5 that we get seem to dominate every episode. The side characters that we have, I think, are good. Audra, Naomi, Silas, Dr. Akopian. We need more of them, because I think they add a lot to the show. And then the side characters that we get a little bit of, Heather, White Josh, Daryl. I just want more of them.
Especially that Heather is featured in the theme song.
Uh-huh. Should be a main character.
Yeah.
Like, Valencia seems to be more of the main character. And honestly, I think even her, sometimes she gets wins and losses based on Josh's actions.
Yeah.
I think she'll be more interesting now that she has her own story. And you mentioned that she will get her own story. But I would like to see more of her story separate from Josh and Rebecca.
Yeah.
Because really it would be, Josh did a thing and either it helped or hurt Valencia.
I will say I tried to frame these around each character.
That's
so, but my first one is more Naomi.
Same thing that I said, more different.
I was being more specific, but agree. I would love more White Josh. Mm-hmm. Apparently, I really like Daryl and think that he should win all the time.
He's also funny.
Yeah, he's funny.
So it's funny. I like his awkward.
Yeah,
I think his awkward works, and it's also not as overwhelming as Rebecca's awkward.
I feel like he's so much more awkward than Rebecca.
Is, but we don't see it all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
We see
it's
it
like in light doses.
Getting by is awkward, but it's funny. But then, or like that, what's that boardroom scene? That's super awkward that he calls her, but then it'll be 2 episodes before we see it again.
Remember when he called the Luna Bar company to ask if they were just for women?
Or when he took White Josh to that old people restaurant and Josh was just wearing flip-flops and shorts.
Yeah, it was great. Daryl's great. Naomi is also great, and I think it would have introduced a lot more character growth for Rebecca.
Yeah.
And I actually would like to see some character growth for Naomi as a person as
Which
well.
I think we did get the second time we saw her.
Mm-hmm.
How she she basically throws herself on the sword because of Silas, was maybe you're not the monster we thought you were, even though we know you're a little bit of a monster.
But then we don't actually get to see Rebecca interact with her after that.
And again,
we
need more of that.
Yeah.
Since you have 5, why don't you go again?
Paula doesn't take any opportunity given to her to grow as a human being or work on her marriage. We get a whole subplot about Paula working on her marriage, and then we just don't talk about it for the second half of the season at all. I mean, I do think at the end, maybe the end of the season, we land in a place where she understand. I don't know, but she also got what she wanted, so. I'm not sure.
I would have not anticipated that response from you, considering how often you had Paula as a winner.
I mean, Paula is schemy, and she can get what she wants, but I don't always think that what she wants is a good thing.
I don't think what she ever wants is a good thing. No, that's totally fair.
I think wanting to help her son out with his school
Well, she needed to do that.
She did need to do that.
Getting him kicked out is not good.
Yeah. And when the episode where she connects with Scott was excellent.
Never come back to it.
Nope.
I think the hook of this show is the music. It's what makes it different and stand out. At the beginning, there were some really fun songs that I really liked. I think at the end, there were some really fun songs that we liked. There's a part I remember asking, are we going to get back to good songs? There's a lot of songs I don't like. Like, Sexy French Depression is not funny. There's another one that I think of. It's the one that you thought I would really like, where she like seeing the sex positions.
Yeah, I mean, that's at the end. Yeah. But,
like, there's a lot of
Oh my God, I Think I Like You.
Oh my God, I Think I Like You. The tune I just didn't like. I've heard it a million times, but I Have Friends is terrible to me.
I like the instrumental sad version that they play.
It's fine, but like as a full song, it's
I like it as like the background music to the show.
Yes. Also, there are some songs, like, I think the song I Could If I Wanted To is a great characterization of who Greg is, but like I went back and listened to it, I was like, isn't it barely a fucking song? It's him talking, and then he kind of sings If I Could If I Wanted To real quick, and he goes back to talking. So like there's just too much of the like, I don't like these. I had a lull of like, I don't like this song, I don't like this song, I don't like any of these songs. The Les Miserables song didn't do anything for me. Just, nah.
Well, that's a good lead-in to my Greg missed opportunity. Greg could if he wanted to. Greg just stands in his own way over and over and over again. And he does do some things, like he enrolls in night school. He goes to the hospital even though he was trying to be chill, like he didn't care about his relationship.
And would you say that was a missed opportunity or a successful move?
Oh, I think, well, it didn't result in a success because of Greg could if he wanted to. But I think that those were strong character choices.
Sure. You think it was a good process?
Yeah.
I'm going to refrain from what I have to say about that till later.
Okay.
But I don't disagree with you.
Sounds good. It was really hard to choose just one for Rebecca. Rebecca doesn't work on herself at all with Dr. Akopian outside of Dream Ghost. I feel like, and obviously there are many things that she does that are wildly problematic and are a huge missed opportunity, but this thing actually could fix a lot of those things. She's got to go to that therapy. She's got to talk to her.
So one of my ridiculous moments that I'm just going to talk about now, we see two instances of Rebecca going through therapy. One is ghost therapy, and the other is a hallucination with Dr. Phil.
Yep.
There are no real instances of her actually going to therapy and working on herself. But
she just goes and asks for drugs and then takes a pill off.
She does break into her therapist's house and just take a random pill.
No, she does that at an actual appointment. The breaking into the house is a different situation.
Oh, good.
She makes one actual appointment with Dr.
Good,
Akopian.
so 2-1. Yeah, that was... Look, like, the premise of the show is that she is the crazy ex-girlfriend. I get that, I appreciate and can respect that. But the progress kind of's gotta go. Like, we gotta go. And instead, we, like, backslide.
Yeah.
Often. Like, we often... Like, even when we get there, like, I think of the Christmas episode. Oh, you got into a good spot with your mom. Then you kind of, like, let her bully you. Like, it was just, like... And a lot of the characters do this, right? They make Greg is notorious for this. Like, we make a lot of progress. We're like, sweet! End of the episode happens. We're like, never mind.
Yeah.
Our bad. You have one more?
Valencia and Josh don't break up sooner. Mostly for actually for both of them. Valencia, they're both in a relationship that doesn't work for them. And I think it's like impeding both of their own personal growth. So I'm excited to see what will happen next. But Josh felt red flags like all the time, and he didn't act on them. And then and actually he never acts on them. Valencia breaks up with him. And he
acts on him once.
That's true. She's so desperate to like the lost time fallacy. Like she feels like she sunk cost. Sorry. She wants to make this work so bad, and it's not gonna work.
I disagree that it was a missed opportunity from a viewing standpoint.
Roger, what the fuck is on your pen?
Lara Croft.
Okay.
I've had this since I worked at GameStop.
I thought it was a stripper.
I mean, some people think Lara Croft looks like a stripper.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Tomb Raider. I think it wouldn't have been as meaningful had it happened sooner.
Yeah.
I think it was actually really good for us to watch Josh and Valencia go through all of that. And, Josh making the mistake with Rebecca and seeing how Valencia treats Josh. I think it made it way more logical and sensical for it to happen when it did, because it was like, you know what? When it happened, both characters were very clearly ready to move on.
Yeah.
As opposed to the often trope of one person gets there and the other one doesn't, and then I have to watch the awful, I'm going to try to win him back. And all this, it was like they both knew it was time to go and part ways.
Yeah.
And it makes season 2 more interesting for Valencia. So I agree with you from a in-season standpoint. They were doing the wrong thing, but it was actually entertaining to watch. Obviously, the number one missed opportunity was Rebecca. I think the problem with her is that when it comes to Rebecca, Greg, Josh, and Paula play the exact same roles the entire season. Josh is always the love interest. Greg is always the pathetic simp chasing her. Paula is always the scheming, weird sister, weird mother. If you think about her and those three, that's where I get annoyed. You think about her and her episode where Naomi shows up, that's fun. The episode where her and her dad, that's really revealing. Her episode with Audra, really good. The Jap battle, God, I don't feel okay saying it. And then, of course, the episode with Dr. Akopian is fantastic. So, when you get to see more layers of Rebecca, she's interesting. But when it's just Greg chases after Rebecca, Rebecca breaks his heart, Rebecca pines over Josh, and then, okay, finally she gets it at the end, but I watched 17 episodes before then. Or Paula and Rebecca come up with a scheme. I'm just and then? In small doses, right? Niles makes a quick quip about how much he's Daphne as a goddess. That's funny. If the entire episode is about that over and over and over and over again, you just go, I'm tired of that.
Mm-hmm. Which is why, season 11 or season 9 is so bad of Frasier. He gets her, and then that's the whole thing. Because he never does anything else except for hang out with Daphne in that season.
Yeah.
It's not that, they get better again later because they stop focusing on that.
But I do think it is funny that they have that thing where she gains a ton of weight and gets self-conscious and is freaked out, and he's like, huh? He loves her so much that he never even noticed and is like, what are you talking about? You gained weight? And everyone is like, you didn't see it? He's like, no, I just... And it's like, oh, he really does love her. Yeah.
All right, lines. How many did you say you have?
I didn't give you a number. So here's what we're going to do.
I have 8.
Sure. I'm going to go on my lines. I'm going to let you go first. I'm going to cross off the lines that we overlap with.
Okay.
I will need you to tell me character first.
Greg.
Thank you.
You're pretty and you're smart and you're ignoring me, so you're obviously my type.
Great. Also have that couldn't be more correct. Couldn't be more depressing.
It's just so Greg.
It's sad.
It is sad.
It is sad.
All right, let's continue on the Greg train. I have one more. I'm not a sourpuss. I'm pensive and deep.
I knew you would have that line. Is that from the song? I couldn't place.
No, he says it out loud, I think.
To whom?
I don't remember.
Is it the clerk?
Yes, yes. Maybe he only says it to himself.
I don't know.
But he does say it. Maybe it's
it.
while the song is being performed, but he's not singing it. It's he speaks it.
Right.
All right. Heather? Well, starting with Tommy. You're totally successful and rich now, right? Not at all, but I'm cool, and that's what really matters.
Perfect.
So good. Also, Heather, we forgot, you're small, but you've got those British nanny size boobs.
Oh, is that when she's breaking into a cookies? Yeah. She does have big boobs.
I have this one from Rebecca because I think that it is the perfect encapsulation of her relationship with her mother and many women's relationships with their mother. She said, I drive like the grandma she's starting to think she'll never be.
I have that one. I love it.
What a biting, just Man, Naomi. Gosh.
Y'all need to have a better relationship with y'all moms. Boys have better relationships with their moms than this usually.
Father Bra?
Love Father Bra.
Please. Mr. Bra was my father. I'm Father Bra.
Fantastic.
And then 2 Josh.
Uh-huh.
How many stocks do people have?
I also asked this question. I don't think it's that unreasonable.
And then I think this is maybe like my favorite line in the whole show, just because the delivery of it was so funny. And Josh, like, it actually, like, really encapsulates Josh's, like, shallowness. Is Greg super hot?
But I also think it's not even I don't think shallow is the right word, but, like, it's a fun running joke that, like, traditionally none of us would think Greg is the super hot
Except
type.
for middle-aged women, apparently.
Apparently. So, like, when you hear it, you're like, you're talking about Greg? Because, like, when we hear Rebecca say, that makes sense. I can't imagine people saying that about Greg, and yet apparently they do.
I think that Greg is more attractive than Josh.
You're a middle-aged woman.
Excuse me. I am not middle-aged.
In soul or in body?
Thanks for that, Roger. All right.
You yourself have admitted you've been an old woman since you were like 5.
But I wouldn't even say middle-aged. I've just been an old lady. I've been 80 since I was 5.
Case and point. Is that all of your lives?
Yeah.
Middle-aged is 40 to 60. You close. You are upper, not middle-aged.
I plan on living past 80.
Yeah, I plan a lot of things. Okay. Let us start with... I love that you had 8 total lines, and I had 8 lines on here for Greg alone.
Wow. I really tried to narrow it down to follow the process.
Same. Some of these I can skip, but they're just...
No, don't skip them.
Okay. There are some lines that are really good that I think you're going to appreciate. I think Marty is the clerk's name.
Yes, that is his name.
She's shown no interest in you, doesn't know you. Why stop now?
That's a good one.
When he's mad at Rebecca, I'd ask how you are, but I already know. You're terrible.
That was really good.
When he realizes that he's making his mistake again, I just got caught up in bunch sanity again. At Marty, I figure 10 or 11 years of me trying, I'm a lock.
I'm sure this is a really fun part to listen to. You're just saying funny lines and then I just laugh.
I love it. It's great. I love listening to it when we do it. When he's talking to Rebecca, because unfortunately I think it's encapsulation of their relationship. I need to be with someone. That's the problem. Because you will always just be someone. However, maybe my favorite Greg line of the season, and it's him acknowledging who he is. Paula, you should change your life. People do that. Not me.
But people.
Oh, Greg. Tommy is the kid.
Yeah.
This was mildly racist, but it was still funny. Well, yeah, they don't like Valencia because Asians don't like dumb people.
That wasn't Tommy.
Who
it was
that?
Chris.
Chris. Amazing line. Amazing line. I was like, wow. Not wrong, but wow, you can't say that. Dr. Akopian. You're going to appreciate these two. Worst part of being a ghost, it's always about the guys. This was also one of the funniest lines of the season. I wish you were a search term on porn sites. She's talking about Greg.
Yeah, yep.
What the fuck is happening? Like, it basically proceeds that, is Greg super hot? And I was like, what? I know that you think Greg's more, I just would not guess, obviously.
He's definitely not as conventionally, well, he does have like a pretty conventionally attractive face, I would say. Yeah. Like, he's handsome.
He also doesn't dress in an appealing way either. Marco, which I believe is Greg's father.
Yep.
At Greg. Oh my God, you're an idiot. Is he wrong? Sadly, no. Okay, let's go to Heather. I loved when they're basically about to break up, and she starts this in sing-songy voice. Shut up and listen to my wise reprise of his song for Settle For Me, which is really great. Though maybe the most insulting but hilarious line she drops when Josh is like, she respects me. She respects you. And he looks genuinely shocked that everyone knows she doesn't respect him. Like, bud, everyone knows she doesn't respect you.
Oh, buddy.
Let's go to Father Bruh at Josh. You're acting like a little bitch. They're playing checkers. Well, you can't blame yourself for that loss. I have the power of Jesus on my side. I think one of my favorite lines, though, was, let's take this to a higher court. And then they go to the basketball court.
That's a good one.
The most twisted one that we hear from him is, yeah, I blame my brother for that baby bunny body, which led him to a life of heroin addiction.
Yeah, that's dark.
Dark. Valencia, great line. At Rebecca, do people who go to Harvard talk about it as much as you? Rebecca.
Yeah.
True. Like, it just is true that they talk about it all the time. Also great that Greg does it later when it comes to the Harvard of the South.
I almost added Valencia's, I don't like humor.
Yeah. You did one Josh line, but I actually think this line's...
I did 2 Josh lines.
One of my Josh lines, sorry. This is actually a sweet line because I think it does explain why Josh develops feelings for Rebecca. He's talking to Rebecca and says, you never tried to change me, which is essentially what Valencia is trying to do the entire time. Naomi. Love Naomi. She has one of the most vile lines I think I've ever heard in television. You didn't even break skin, and you inconvenienced a lot of people.
Yeah, that's
She's obviously
really
talking
bad.
about Rebecca trying to take her own life. That's her mother.
Yeah.
There are some issues with Naomi. Paula, 3 really good lines. I'm surprised you didn't have any Paula lines.
I had to
You had to
narrow
cut them. With at Rebecca, you're getting your butterfly smashed. I'm all for it.
Butterfly smashing is really good.
What a great line. Father Bra mostly interacts with only Josh, but we see them interact with Paula one time when I think they're getting marriage counseling. She asked Father Bra, are you going to really pull the God card?
Yeah.
And then I think the relationship is best summed up by Rebecca, oh, honey, your morals are not up to code.
That's really good.
I cannot believe you don't have this line from Rebecca, and that's what I'm going to close with. I have 4 that you haven't said. Rebecca, I'm half Christmas anyway.
I almost did that one as well.
Rebecca's elitism. Well, Cornell is like the community colleges of the Ivy Leagues. This is less a line and more of an emotion. At Josh. There is no better line that sums up this entire season.
This is a show with a lot of good lines.
It is. Rebecca and Josh. I moved here for you. Josh. What? Rebecca, the second I saw you on the street in New York, I knew. I just knew you were the answer to all my problems.
Oh, God.
She's the crazy ex-girlfriend. That's it.
All right. Top 5 songs. I have 7.
I technically have 8.
Okay, you go first.
I love a good theme song, especially when it does a good job of summing up what this show is about. Great theme song for what this show is about.
I actually I ranked them, which I don't usually do. I have that one as number 4.
Oh, I put that just now in as I forgot about it, but I wanted to add it in. I think it's really good.
I mean, it's like engaging, and I love how they like move into it every time to like explain something that's happening in the show.
The different ways they cut to it, whether it's just on the plane and she looks at the camera and goes, well.
Yeah, it's great. I gave you a UTI.
I knew you'd like that one.
I like the tune, the like Elvis stuff, and it's just Greg's like enthusiasm is unbridled.
It was right on my it just missed the cut list. I don't like the song, but I do think it is a perfect, and we will use this quote probably going forward. I don't know how you better describe Greg than I could if I wanted to. Mm-hmm. It just is. It's like a character-defining song in a way that not all songs are.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice.
So I have that at 7.
My 6 is I'm the Villain in My Own Story. I think it's a fun song, and I think that it was a turning point for Rebecca, which ultimately she undoes in the final episode, but I think that she like recognized a lot about herself, and I just think the song is funny.
Yeah, I would definitely say she's a poor, unfortunate soul.
Yeah.
My number 6 is Women Gotta Stick Together.
You really liked that one.
I love both what it is and what it symbolizes. Like, I think the song is catchy, but also, like, the idea that Valencia's like, yeah, girl power, we gotta stick together, while insulting all of the women in her orbit.
Except for Denise Martinez, that bitch I cannot stand.
And that is Valencia in a heartbeat. Like,
no, totally.
Yeah, we gotta be, that's why I said, like, that she's not good to women.
My 5 is Jap Battle Rap.
That's really high for a rap song for you.
I think it's got good beat.
Oh yeah.
And I think just like the things that they do talk about in the song, it's like a good, they're battling about a thing, but also all of the like racial stereotypes and like white saviorism that they bring up.
We're both okay with black people.
Yeah, obviously. I just think that's a really, plus the whole how they break down like Jap is a problematic term, but we're trying to take it back. Like, I think it's great, and the lyrics to the song are so funny.
Which, of course, is them stealing another thing that black people
do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of how to describe characters in a song, Naomi's entrance
is
perfect.
Where's the bathroom?
Unbelievable, and pretty much everything that you think about Naomi is summarized in that song. It is just a litany, whirring dervish of insults at Rebecca. It's perfect. It really tells me who Naomi is, and I'm like, this is gonna be fun.
I actually almost included one of the lines from that song in my favorite lines, but it's so long because she's just like, it's like one sentence of insults.
It's a run-on insult.
The thing about like, you don't have any vases. Do you not have any vases because you're a lesbian? It's okay if you're a lesbian, but we should get you some vases.
Such a judgmental, but like, no, I'm trying to be there for you, but I mean, you need some vases. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. My number 4 was Crazy, the theme song. So my number 3 is You Ruined Everything, You Stupid Bitch.
I don't like that song. I know you have referenced. I think the title's funny as hell. Not my style of song. But you have always referenced this as like one of your favorite songs.
I mean, I like it's a style of song that I enjoy, kind of a crooner ballad. And I think that it really captures the internal turmoil that Rebecca feels a lot. Like the self-deprecation. It also captures a lot of like mental health, like the way that a lot of people with mental health issues feel.
I thought it was,
or so I have heard people say.
Yeah, I remember thinking like there was an episode where I was like, oh, this feels like this song should have been here. But that's fair. Like it totally makes sense. It does do a good job of like this is what Rebecca struggles with really badly. I have a different Rebecca song, oddly enough, at 4, and you've referenced it a lot, and I think it's amazing. Now, I'm going to put an asterisk on this because what makes it great is the explicit version. But I Give Good Parent is funny shit.
That's my number 1 song.
I know.
It's the thing that made me love this show. Yeah. Like, I was like, oh, this show is something else.
Yeah, it's good. The explicit version would probably be number 1, but I'm not counting that since it's not part of the show.
That's fair.
I recommend everyone go listen to it, not maybe around sensitive members of your family. It's funny as hell.
Well, I think I like it for so many reasons.
Agreed.
I identify with Rebecca. I, too, give good parent as a person. Parents love me.
What?
And trying to, like, ingratiate yourself with parents in a way. And Rebecca actually, like, does have a lot of qualities on paper that, like, make her... Like, she's both good at communicating with them and, like, she went to Harvard and, like, she has a great job and... but also she's fucking crazy.
I think what I like about the song is that it highlights the silliness of letting your parents choose because parents will always choose the person that gives good parents. Regardless of whether or not that person is right for you. Yeah, but she went to Harvard. She's a successful lawyer. She communicates and dresses in a modest way. And we love that, son. This is what you want. I was like, this bitch is crazy.
Well, and the boldness of the lyrics in the song.
Yeah.
Like, even the non-explicit version. Like, it's... like, she kind of uses it as, like, your parents want to fuck me.
Yeah. I also liked that it presented Rebecca and Valencia in, like, a perfect light that, like, neither one of them understood Josh well enough to do both. Yeah. Valencia gave him what he wanted, which was a sexy, hot girlfriend. Rebecca's like, I can be your perfect wife for your parents, but both of you are missing another piece that he wants. If you put them together, he's got the perfect girlfriend.
And Mrs. Chan in this song.
Mrs. Chan is great. Great. What's your number 3? Oh, no, you said your
I
number
only
3.
have one left. It's number 2.
Okay. My number 3, Paula got pipes.
Paula got pipes.
And despite the pipes, Face Your Fears is so
I knew you were gonna pick this
funny. It just gets more hysterical as the song goes on. I just remember crying laughing at the end of
Well,
it.
and when Rebecca's like, this seems like bad advice.
Foreshadowing. Run with Scissors. Like, she just says more outlandish stuff, and I just been like, this song's amazing. Like, I remember how much I loved it, and I was like, that's funny.
Stars aren't that hot. You can touch them.
I can't believe you don't have this on here. Maybe you do. Number 2, Dream Ghost.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good song. But
I went back
have it on
and
here.
watched it recently, and I was like, oh, Dr. Copian got pipes?
It's my 3rd favorite Dr. Copian song, which is why I didn't put it on this list.
Okay. Not a criteria I would have anticipated one using. It's just so good. It's just so funny. It has the type of joke that I know you love. It's like, you know this, we're all women because this doesn't pay that well. The facial expressions she makes when she's in the window are hilarious. I get to see Ricky, great song. Great.
Well, and Dr. Copian,
Is
that
amazing.
actress can sing so well. Like I want to see her and Paula like do a duo.
A duet. I also, I think that was the best episode of the season, and that was my second favorite song of the season. Like, it was really good. What is your favorite song?
Well,
let me guess. Your favorite song.
It's second favorite, but yes. Because I give Good
Give Good
Parenting.
Parenting. Your second favorite song. Is it the one where they're doing the sex stuff?
No.
Oh. What is it?
Settle for Me.
Yeah, that tracks.
I like the song.
Yep.
It's I like the dance sequence and like it's funny, and some of the shit that Greg says in that song is like, and I also love at the end of the song when she like summarizes what he says and he's like, that's not quite what I said. And at the time you're sort of like, Rebecca's imagining that he said crazy stuff, and then later you're like, it seems like Greg maybe did say some of that shit.
Also, I like when they finally hook up, that song plays in the background.
Yep.
I'm like, she did settle.
And I actually almost chose this, but fucking Heather's reprise of
Great.
Don't Settle for Me is great.
Great. Jet Battle Rap was by far my favorite song.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
I mean, that's my style of music. I thought it was really funny. The ridiculous nonsense, all the things you said were correct. Yeah, we're both allies with black people. We're cool. It's like, white savior complex. But also, I think Audra just adds something to Rebecca in a way that like we don't get to see very often, which is, I'm actually rooting for you. This is fun. So yeah, Cat Battle Rap all the way.
All right, good choice. All right, I actually stuck with 5 most ridiculous moments. You said you had more.
I only have 6, but one of them is yours. It's the same moment you have.
The same moment that I have.
We have the same moment in a different number, probably, but okay. My number 6 is that Daryl did meth by accident.
Yep, I have that.
I know you did. I'm sorry. Daryl did meth by accident. I don't need to explain. I don't need to elaborate. You know why that's ridiculous.
Yep,
it's
really
great.
ridiculous. The macaroni portrait that Rebecca makes of Josh, and then Paula won't let her throw it away.
No disagreements there.
I do think it is interesting. Rebecca actually did throw away all of those things, even after she tried to pretend like she was going to keep them, and then she threw them away.
Yeah, it seemed like she had made real progress.
But macaroni portrait is fucking terrifying.
Very Hey Arnold to me.
Or that's like a thing that you make for your mom in like elementary school, like in an art project.
Is it?
Yeah, that's definitely a thing kids do. But that is not a thing that adults make about a boy they have a crush on.
You're right.
Yeah.
Rebecca loses the case because she doesn't think using the emails is right.
Yeah.
Against a crooked company that is screwing people over with an opportunity to win money for these people who've been victimized. You choose this moment to take a moral... And I think your point about, it could have put the case in danger, but you're a good lawyer. Use the emails in a different way.
I almost chose that and didn't because I think what she did at the end of giving it to the reporter was the right thing to do, but she should have done that before they went to trial.
Absolutely. Because if that's exposed by the reporter, that's the thing you can use now. You win, actually. The thing to use, it's just game over.
Yeah. Daryl calling an office meeting in the conference room to tell his coworkers that he is bisexual.
I can't even hold it in. Listen, I, as a general rule, hate meetings. I don't know if I would hate this or love it because it's so stupid, but like that is the most inappropriate meeting I've ever heard of in my life.
Yep. You can bring it up to your coworkers when you're having casual conversations, but you don't need to you also don't need to confess it. You can just be like, oh, I went on a date with a guy last night. It was great. What did you do?
I wouldn't drop that bomb out of nowhere since they knew he was married. Also, as a general rule, most companies frown upon you talking about your sex life at work. Now, people do it. Definitely shouldn't be calling meetings to do it, though. Now, it's his company, so I guess he can do whatever he wants.
Well, there's still laws.
Listen, he's a rich white man. They don't apply to him.
He's 1/8 Chippewa, Roger.
Number 4. The deposition breaks down because Rebecca sends a text message to Josh accidentally, and they all somehow decide this is a text emergency.
I have that one too, but more specifically, Rebecca gets a police escort for the text emergency.
But the whole thing was absurd where I thought it was fake. I was like, oh, this is happening in her head. No, this is real. Wait, what? It was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious.
My last one, I almost added this as a favorite line, but I think it just fits better here. Rebecca asking Calvin to sleep with her mom. And then Calvin just totally seeing directly through Rebecca and saying, oh, I too am a mom pleaser.
But no. It very much summed up who Rebecca is. She's so desperate that she'll just do it. Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. Number 3, because I have 3 left.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Okay. Rebecca pole danced with the intent of luring Josh away from Valencia in front of her boss.
I also almost added White Josh's, I think I just saw inside her.
Which, I didn't know he was gay at the time. It's way funnier now when he's disgusted by that and he's like, I didn't need to see that. First off, you should never be pole dancing in front of your boss. Also, if your goal is to beat Valencia and win Josh, tactically speaking, maybe don't do something that highlights body differences.
Give good parent instead.
Give good parent. Do a word competition. You're not going to outbody Valencia.
Or, if you're going to use a body part,
boobs.
Use your fucking boobs.
Gotta be boobs. It's got to be all cleavage here. You win there, but you lose everywhere else. I already talked about this, so I don't have to elaborate again. 2 sessions of fake therapy. 1 session of real therapy. And
that wasn't real therapy. It was Rebecca asking for drugs.
And one of those, in a different scenario, where she ends up eating a pill off of her bathroom floor.
Yeah. Yep, that's bad.
She has an unhealthy relationship with therapy.
Yep.
Which feels like she needs therapy for that, but that feels circular. The literally number 1 most ridiculous moment of this season is that Rebecca, after a random chance encounter and a butter ad, decided to move across the country with the intent of reuniting with her ex-boyfriend from 10 years ago.
Yep.
That's it. That's the moment.
That's a good one. I have 1 loser. I actually had a really hard time choosing winners and losers for the reason that we were talking about earlier, because it's it seems like it's great, and then at the end, or it seems like it's bad, but then at the end they make the right choice. But
well, since I have 3, maybe you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Listen, I love ultimately where we get to as far as the decision. But if you look at this as a whole, in my opinion, I don't know how you don't spin this as anything other than a loss for Valencia. Mm-hmm. Truth be told, she was right about Rebecca's intentions 100%. Was successfully gaslit by her and other people other than Greg, that she was just making it up and she's just a friend. And it's she moved here with the intent of stealing your man. There's no way, this is not didn't know. She came here with that purpose. And then on top of that, look, it sucks that you did sink that cost into that relationship, ultimately came to the right conclusion, but you're in a bad place right now. It doesn't feel good. And the family didn't like her. She got treated like shit. A lot of losses for her. I think she will be in a better place, but right now this is an L in my opinion.
Yeah, I see that. I also thought about choosing Valencia, but I I think that she and Josh will be happier not being together, but I agree that right now that's not the case.
Yeah, like based on how she feels at the end of season 1, she feels much worse now than she did before. Speaking of that, I think this is a loss for Josh. So Josh, in the bus episode where they do the party bus, he talks about how much he's like happy, he loves West Corvina, people don't really get it. By the end of the season, he's not that happy. He has broken up with his girlfriend, which, while is the right thing to do, still doesn't feel very good. He's rushed into a thing with a crazy person who's fucking obsessed with him, and he looks terrified.
And in addition to a crazy person that's fucking obsessed with him, she's friends with a really crazy person that is even better at schemey things than she is.
Facts.
And she wants this to happen as well.
Facts. He did a thing that he regretted. Obviously kissing her, which made him feel really shitty. Also, listen, Josh, not the smartest guy in the world. This feels very complicated.
Yeah.
Somebody who's dumb probably doesn't want complication in their life.
Well, also, she's just... She maybe hasn't even officially broken up with his best friend.
Yep. Like I said, things got complicated.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Obviously, we have the same.
Yeah, Greg. I think that... I mean, I don't disagree with Josh and Valencia. I don't think those are bad choices. I think that Josh was unhappy, and, well, I guess, actually, I will add Josh, because he seems unhappy now with Rebecca. He's unhappy in all the ways.
It felt like he got good for a moment.
Yeah.
And then we went right back to...
But Greg... I think Greg did this to himself. Greg had what he wanted, and he did it to himself.
So, problem number 1 with him is that he had what he wanted, but not what he needed. He should have never wanted Rebecca. She doesn't ever want him. So he settled for her. He was hoping that she would settle for him. Literally the song. He struck out with her 3 times. Whether it was the first time they went on that date in the pilot where she's just looking for Josh, whether it's the time she takes home the weird hippie, and then, of course, the big one where they hook up and then, oh, look at that, Josh is available. He gets kicked to the side. Yeah, he sabotages it, but, like, she always still loved Josh. And the truth is, at one point he does say the line that I said, she just wanted to be with someone, and you just happen to be someone. And you're a consolation prize. 2, boy, he fumbled the bag with Heather.
Yeah.
That was the kind of person who did understand it.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of the issues I had was like, dude, you created mommy issues that weren't even a thing. She helped you realize that, but like, you've been miserable about this for a long time. You're just a miserable person. And then, look, you got serious issues with Josh. Like, y'all are best friends, but you have deep-seated issues, and the rest of their friends look at you as kind of a loser, to the point that, like, White Josh says, this is just what he does.
Yeah.
Like, they're just not even angry at you, they're just sad for you. That just feels like a loser. If I could, if I wanted to.
Yeah, I think I could if I wanted to, is, like, Greg keeps standing in his own way. And also, to add, there are some things about Greg's life that suck that are not his fault.
Agreed. His father is not his fault.
Yeah, like, his father is ill, and he was going to go to business school, and he couldn't go. And then he had to go to night school, and because he could if he wanted to, he did not really try, and now maybe he's failing business school.
I mean, truthfully, even though I disagree with his process, it is not his fault that Rebecca ran into Josh's arms. It might be his fault that Rebecca didn't stay with him, but I'm not going to blame him that she went running back to the guy she was obsessed with. That's just not fair. But he did open the door for that to... I mean, it probably would have happened anyway, in my opinion. But, yeah, I mean, he is his own worst enemy in a way that doesn't seem like he's able to resolve.
All right, I have 6 top 5 moments.
I have 8 favorite moments because I just removed top 5 from that line.
Smart.
2
here, let me go first. 2 of mine are actually things that we've already talked about.
Oh, okay.
Shut up and listen to my wise reprise. Just what a way to take a song that I already really liked and somehow make it better.
Make it better. 100%.
And Father Bra, just Father Bra, actually, like, in general, is a favorite moment. But specifically when he calls Josh a little bitch.
Literally my 8th favorite moment. Father Bra.
Just Father Bra as a person.
He's just great, and he's a character that adds so much fun to the show.
Yeah.
It's
weird to think about your friend being a priest.
Yeah, but that's what makes the relationship fun.
Yeah.
And, like, he's real about it. Like, he's just like, you're just being a little bitch.
Yeah.
I really liked the Christmas episode where we thought we were going to get Greg's Nightmare Before Christmas, and in fact, it's his own fucking fault.
Yep.
Like, his mom was actually a very pleasant person.
Yep.
And his family was very pleasant, and they weren't, in fact, mocking him. They were very proud of him. And it was just Greg getting in his own way. And Heather's like, I thought they were a jerk and you were the victim. They're great and you're terrible.
You're terrible.
And the way she says it with such delight, he's just like, shit, I'm the problem. Ghost therapy.
Ghost therapy is a good choice.
Amazing. Just amazing.
It's a really good choice. Paula and Scott bonding over breaking the window at Rebecca's house and then Scott slapping Paula's ass. Just, I wish that we got more of it, and I hope that we do in the future, but it was great. It was actually like it was a thing. We were focusing on their marriage. Yep. I liked it, and it was funny, and like, it was just so unexpected. Scott was like, I love this.
Yeah, I almost wanted them to become like a duo.
Yeah.
Trent.
Yeah, I actually almost chose Trent. Specifically the, you show us a person that is like Rebecca that is a man, and it is fucking terrifying.
Like, it's funny when Rebecca's doing it, and when Trent does it, you go, what the fuck? Oh! Now, what's sad is that Rebecca doesn't see it.
Well, especially because Trent, like Rebecca, Trent also probably gives real good parent. He looks great on a piece of paper. He went to Harvard. He makes a bunch of money. And
he's a genuinely sweet guy, but he's fucking crazy. He's nuts. He's the kind of person that your mom or your dad would pick for you and be like, that's the kind of guy that I want my daughter to be with. And you're like, he's going to kill me.
Yep.
Number 4. I think you have this, and if you don't, I'm going to be shocked. There's a prostitute running around town ruining marriages.
I tied it together with the ongoing butter joke because the man who writes the sad butter things left his wife for a prostitute, and now that prostitute is running all around town breaking up marriages. The window washers are talking about it.
Maybe that guy in the airport and the airplane is also potentially leaving his wife for a prostitute.
Yep.
I need to meet this prostitute.
Yeah.
How many do you have left?
1, 2.
Great.
I think we have you have these for sure.
Oh, guaranteed. Bitches to apologize to.
What a way to end your pilot episode of the show. You made a joke during a pretty good song, actually, that's like very funny and reveals like what it is really like to be a woman. And man, does Nipsey Hussle experience that in such a way that he's got to apologize to them bitches.
It's so good. It's so good. Then the callback when he calls them and apologizes, like, I'm sorry that I made you dance on my car. It is so good. And I was like, oh, this is hysterical. Like, this is legitimately funny. And I'm a sucker for a good callback, and that was a great callback.
Yeah, that one was really good. Paula and Scott doing the theme song of the show, spoken.
That is my number 1 moment. That's my favorite moment of the season.
It was amazing.
I even put a sub-point and said the fact that you used the theme song in the synopsis reminded me so much of that it was my sub-favorite moment. Because I absolutely love when they just talk about it and you're like, that's the theme song and that's hilarious because that is this show.
I started writing the thing and then I almost wrote exactly the theme song and I was like, what if I just read the theme song? And I was like, Roger will laugh so hard if I just read the theme song.
I didn't catch it at the time, and I remember you laughing when I made this surprisingly very clairvoyant point. When I said, Rebecca feels like she's the villain of the story, and it's Valencia who is the damsel in distress. And then we get to that episode, and the song happens, I'm like, holy fuck! They see it too! Yeah, when Rebecca realizes she's the villain of the story, and I'm just like, thank fucking God we got there.
Yeah.
Like, she realized that, like, you're wrong. Like, it's just you're the problem. And then I was just like, I'd be damned. I was like, I'm sure people were like, you've seen it before. I was like, that was a pure lucky call. Did not see that coming. I was like, good on them.
Yeah, that was good. I have 3 winners.
You said that as if you had a question.
One of them is kind of a question.
I only have 2, and I would be shocked if you don't have both of them, and I don't know who could be a third.
Okay. I have Daryl and Wyjo.
So they were the ones I considered. My argument would be not yet.
Yeah, I just think that they are the only people that don't have a sort of like, you did this thing, but then this happened.
Yep, agreed. It's almost like they won because they didn't lose.
Yes.
And like I think what they're doing is fun, but it feels early. Like it feels like a win is coming. I don't know that I would place them as the winners of this just yet, But they're certainly the only other people who didn't lose.
I did not choose Paula, which I imagine is maybe a person that you have.
I don't agree with Paula, and I don't think anything that she is doing is right.
Okay.
But she got everything she wanted.
I
know why you didn't choose her.
Yeah. And then the other person I have is Rebecca, with a big question mark. She got exactly what she wanted, except that exactly what she wanted is not Josh saying, what? Like, it felt like right up until that last second, I was like, Rebecca won this season. And then it's like, well, also, I think that she made a bad choice. Like, Josh is not the answer to all of Rebecca's problems. Like, this is going to be a fucking disaster. But also, not only is it just in general going to be a fucking disaster, but it seems like Josh already thinks it's going to be a fucking disaster. But she got what she wanted.
Let's talk about Paula first.
Okay.
So if I were to guess, the reason you didn't put Paula was that she didn't actually grow as a person, and we didn't see anything about her relationship with Scott other than that really great moment in that episode.
Sort of, but I actually also sort of didn't choose her because I feel like when they make up at the wedding, she sort of does. Like, she's like, Rebecca, you are my friend. I love you. And then I don't know. I guess I can't argue that she didn't win.
Look, what she wanted is repugnant, but in the end of the day, she got the job done.
Yeah, all right.
She saw Rebecca and Josh as a classic love story, long to be together, and that's what we end up with.
Yeah.
It was never about Rebecca and Josh being happy. It was about Rebecca and Josh being together. She wins.
Although, the other thing that I was thinking about is, does Paula only like the chase? And once, like, the
game is over.
Yeah.
Paula in season 2 might lose because she has no more purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But the Paula of season 1 got the chase, got the successful victory, game, set, match. I am disappointed in Paula because I think she could have grown as a character, especially when it comes to Scott and her kids. But, look, ultimately she got what she wanted. Rebecca, I actually am shocked that you don't have her as a clear-cut winner. Other than what you just said, that does make some sense.
You will argue with me about this all day. I think that she wanted Greg.
Okay. You truly believe that?
Yes.
You truly believe that someone she was obsessed with for a decade, she had gotten over and wanted Greg more than she wanted Josh?
Yep.
Okay. I no longer like football, Chelsea.
Okay.
You believe me?
No.
Why not?
Because you love football.
But I've changed my mind. People can change. It sounds stupid when I say that, doesn't it? You wouldn't believe me if I said that. Instead of football, I'm just going to be all about musicals. You know what you would say? That's just not true. Now, maybe if 10 years passed, where I just no longer talked about football, no longer played football, you'd be like, oh yeah, looks like you've changed. But tomorrow, you going to believe that? You going to believe that on Tuesday? No. You're going to be like, you lying-ass son of a bitch. Sooner or later, you're going to go back to football.
Fine.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Her process is ridiculous. It reminds me of Charming. She just does dumb, reckless, absurdly stupid shit the entire season. Between sending text messages and trying to move across the country, and then when it looks like Josh has closed the door, she actually decides she's going to move back across the country, and thank God some ghost therapy shows up to save the day. She takes a random pill off the floor. I mean, just bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. She treats Greg like shit. Like, there's really no way to say it any other way. And yet, despite all of that, at the end, she gets the fairy tale guy that she's been in love with, makes out with the car with, and now she's exactly where she wants to be. Now, she doesn't know that Josh is terrified, but that is what she wanted. Also, so positives. Despite her not going for this, she developed a really good support system of friends that I don't think she had before. Mm-hmm. She gained a Paula. She gained a Heather. Valencia and her seem to be in a friendly standpoint, but now that Josh isn't necessarily the thing dividing them, I think they could end up being friends in a more genuine manner. And I think she's in a better place with her mom.
Yeah, I think she was really depressed when she lived in New York.
100%.
And even if Josh's terrified look results in them breaking up, she does still have those other things.
100%. I also appreciate that the villain won. Now, I know most people don't look at Rebecca as the villain. She's clearly the villain.
Well, she's the villain of her own story.
Yes. But I think she's just the villain of this season. Like, if you described her actions and took the names out, you would say, oh, that's the bad girl of the season. And
what are you talking about, Roger? Valencia broke up with Josh on her own volition. It didn't have anything to do with Rebecca.
Well, oddly enough, I actually do think that's true. I don't think she broke up with... Because she even says, I always thought Rebecca was a problem, but it's not Rebecca.
Yeah.
Now, maybe Josh's indecision could have been framed around Rebecca, but that only explains maybe the last 6 months to a year. There were 10 years before that they could have easily tied a knot with her.
In a really fucked up way, Rebecca helped Valencia see that she and Josh shouldn't be together. It's fucked up.
I hate that you're right there. Like, I truly despise that you are correct, and yet in some way, twisted, she actually did end up providing benefit to Valencia by trying to steal her boyfriend, and I mean, look, she leaves Greg in. She is the reason Greg is a loser. So certainly, if this were a moral argument, Rebecca has lost. But as far as did you get what you wanted at the end of the season and get some things that maybe you didn't want but you needed? I think she did.
Yeah.
I think she wins.
All right. I chose a question for each character.
I did not. I have some funny questions.
Okay. I have 5. How many do you have? Okay, great.
But I have 1 subpoint, so 5.5.
Okay. Will we learn more about Paula and her marriage and see her grow as a human being?
Fair. Fair. Though, oddly enough, if Paula and Scott just become the funny side characters, I'm also okay with that. Like, I don't necessarily need the growth.
I mean, they don't... Yeah, if they're, happy together I think that is some sort of growth for her.
I don't know what I'm saying is I don't need, the deep, it doesn't have to be a huge explanation. It could just be they're in a good place now and they're funny and happy. Funny question. Hey, so at the end of that episode where they went to camp, Chloe trapped a man in a box. Is he okay?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he's okay.
I need an update, please. Is she also doing this to multiple people, or is this a one-time thing?
Well, I think that she wanted revenge on the person.
This is the guy who trapped her in a box. Yeah. Question 4. Daryl used to want to be called Chief. Remember that as a thing beginning of the season. Did we just drop that?
Maybe Daryl is becoming a better person.
I hope so. I hope he doesn't ask White Josh to call him Chief.
Gosh. Does Greg actually think they broke up? And how will he react when he finds out about Josh?
No, and very badly.
Yeah.
He already had Josh phobia. And his worst fears, that we all besides you knew was coming, came true. My follow-up question of the day, will that even stop him from pursuing Rebecca?
No, because she's exactly his type. She's unattainable. She's smart and ignoring him.
Yikes. So, Paula's concern was about, once they're no longer going after Josh, what do we have to bond over? Okay, well, she got Josh, which means technically that journey's over. Now what?
Keep Josh? Operation Keep Josh.
My sub-point was literally, this better not be a reprise, and Paula's just scheming to keep them together. I do not want to see that. I do not want to see Operation Keep them together.
What's Josh gonna do? We saw that frightened look on his face. What's he gonna do?
I have Josh seems terrified at what Rebecca revealed.
Well, and honestly, based on what we've seen of Josh, he's not gonna do anything.
No.
He's gonna accept the situation that he is in.
Maybe.
But he might have changed.
Might have learned his lesson.
But I don't know.
I mean, how long until this comes to a head?
Yeah. Is Rebecca actually happy?
That's not a question, in my opinion.
Definitely a question.
Why? Why is that a question for you?
Because I think she wanted Greg.
Oh, you're
I think she's pursuing the ideal of Josh, not
Mm-hmm.
the person that is Josh. So you can't be happy with an ideal. Because he's not a real person. The Josh that Rebecca sees is not a real person.
You must have future knowledge to be this confident in this silly theory.
Okay.
No other way this makes sense. What's your last one?
Is Valencia out? Did Valencia peace out? She's hanging out. What's going on? How are we going to use her in the future?
So I have a Valencia question, and it is, now that she's not with Josh, I feel like Valencia's story can be interesting. What becomes of our villain? Mm-hmm. Now, she was the fake villain, in my opinion, because Rebecca was always the true villain. But, like, now what do we do with Valencia?
Well, and also there are, like, yes, Valencia was not the villain of the story, but also Valencia is often not very nice. So, like, will Valencia learn that she's some... She has learned some things. Like, she learned that she should learn about humor.
I don't even know what that means. Does she learn why people think things are funny? Is she trying to learn to be funny? I need follow-up on the humor
I need
thing.
Valencia to, like, try to learn up-close magic or some close-up magic so she can, like, feel like, this is people like this? This is how I interact with people.
I'm also curious with Valencia. Like, I know a lot of girls who say, like, I don't get along with other girls. I have a lot of guy friends. And then I know the inverse, where, like, a lot of girls who don't like guys, but then they have girlfriends. She seems that weird type that, like, girls definitely don't like her. But guys don't like her either, other than guys who want to sleep with her. So, like, does she really have no friends?
Yeah, Denise Martinez. She can't stand that bitch.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like, I think that's going to be, if we get to explore that topic, the idea that, like, hey, Valencia, like, no one likes you. Like, do you know why no one likes you?
Yeah.
Like, her family would be fascinating to meet.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely true. Do you have any more questions?
Those are my 5.
All right, well, next time we will watch Season 2, Episode 1, Where is Josh's Friend?
Crying at home thinking that he's still with Rebecca.
Yep. Well, please be sure to join us next time as we continue this crazy X journey.
We'll see you next season.